Today's case is Wisconsin Right to Life versus FEC. So here's a commercial that was the heart of this case. So you're deciding, based on the McCain-Feingold rules, does this count as an expressed advocacy ad or as an issue ad? Every time.
There are a lot of judicial nominees out there who can't go to work. Their careers are put on hold because a group of U.S. senators is filibustering, blocking qualified nominees from a simple yes or no vote. It's politics at work, and it's causing gridlock. Contact Senators Feingold and Cole and tell them to oppose the filibuster. Visit befair.org. Wisconsin Right to Life.
Okay, so again, based on the criteria for McCain-Feingold, is that an expressed advocacy ad or an issue ad? I think based on the rules, it should count as an expressed advocacy ad, and it should use hard money. Why? Because they mentioned at least one of the two senators was a candidate for federal office at the time. But here's the thing. I don't think, like we saw before, I don't think that they were really advocating for one person or the other. Only one of those two guys was up for election at the time, and you can't tell who, just based on the ad alone. You can't tell whether, based on telling him to oppose the filibuster, you can't tell whether you're supposed to support that candidate or not. It almost seems like this is really an issue ad that's actually about an issue. And so that was what the court case Wisconsin Right to Life versus FEC was all about. And so the question was whether there should be exemptions for ads like this, ads that truly discuss an issue. Even if they do happen to mention a candidate, they really seem to be within the context of an issue. And so they said, you know what? You can. Your ads can use soft money if, even though they show the name or face of a candidate, they may count as an issue ad if they are mentioned within the context of an issue. And so you'll get things like that. Call your senators and tell them to oppose the filibuster. Call Senator Johnson and tell him to oppose Senate Bill 538. And so to the casual observer, it's really hard to conclude that those ads are anything other than an issue ad because they mention a clear issue at the end of the ad. But of course, you can imagine that quickly becomes a loophole. Here's one example.
Will Pat McCrory's economic policies move North Carolina forward? Pat McCrory opposes raising the minimum wage for North Carolina workers, but McCrory supports pay raises for politicians, including himself. And Pat McCrory opposes free community college tuition for high school graduates. Call Pat McCrory at 704-336-2241 and tell him North Carolina needs higher wages, free tuition at community colleges, and no more perks for politicians.
So this is a great example of the type of ad that cropped up after Wisconsin Right to Life. Like, clearly you're not supposed to like this guy, but it's counted as an issue ad because the issue here is those three policies that they addressed. And so this kind of became the calling card of the post-Wisconsin Right to Life ad, this call your congressman and tell him X. And so you can see that this is not like the first commercial that we saw. It's much more telling you which way to vote, but it counts as an issue ad because of the context of the issue discussed. And again, it doesn't take a whole lot of imagination to see that the direction will be even more expressed advocacy, and yet they'll still count as an issue ad. Here's a great example. This is one of our favorite ones from over the years. You'll see.
It happened to him in 1960, in 1965, and again in 2000. He was intimidated, so he wouldn't vote. This year, they're at it again. John McCain and the Republicans are trying to keep him and untold others from voting. Tell John McCain, not this time. Acorn, voting is your right. Protecting it is our job.
The Association of Community Organizations for Reform Now is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Acorn.
So let me get this straight. I'm supposed to call John McCain and I'm supposed to just tell him not this time? That's the issue. Call him and tell him not this time. So that became the loophole post Wisconsin Right to Life.